Let's begin with a word of prayer.
我们请低头祷告。
Dear Father, Lord,
天父，我们的主，
thank you so much, Lord, for this day.
谢谢你给我们今天早上，
Thank you, Lord, for friends and family.
我们感谢你给我们有家庭有朋友，
Thank you, Lord, for this church that we have.
我们感谢你我们有这个教会。
And I just pray, oh Lord, that you bless this time of reading your word.
这次我们祷告的时候，求你这个时候，我们当读你的话语的时候，
I just pray that you would speak to our hearts today.
求你今天对我们心里说话，
Let your message be true.
使我们的信息真的是真理。
May we take your words to heart.
我们把你的话语牢牢记在心中。
I pray all this in the name of Lord Jesus Christ.
我们这次祷告奉主耶稣基督的名。
Amen.
Amen.
Modern day movies often look quite amazing, don't they?
现在这个现代的这个电影呢，真的是很奇妙。
Computer-generated special effects can sometimes look pretty realistic.
由电脑所产生的这种特别的效应呢，是看起来是很独特。
Special effects in movies have come a long way since the 1990s.
从1990年到现在，这种特别特别效果的这种节目呢，越来越高就。
When you watch older movies, you can sometimes see things that just look so fake that you can't help but laugh at how
当我们看那些
ridiculous
旧
it
的电影的
looks.
时候，好像看起来好像很假，真的忍不住要笑起来。
But in newer movies, they can do almost anything.
这新的这个电影，它真的是可以做任何事情。
They have like disaster movies with giant earthquakes and storms.
一些灾难的这个电影，看到这个大的这个地震或者是大的这个风暴，
They can send people across space and time.
可以把人从这个空间传到另外一个空间去。
Anything that people can imagine, they can show it.
我们心里能够想的电影都能够就是显示出来。
Now on the screen, of course, it looks really amazing.
当然在荧幕上看起来是很奇妙，
But if you ever get the chance to look behind the scenes, you'll see that it looks nothing like that.
但是假如有机会在这个荧幕的后面来看的话，你就知道真的不是这样一回事。
A lot of these actors are just kind of wearing these special suits with little balls on them.
很多演员他们只是穿一些特别的衣服，
And the backgrounds of these movie sets are usually just like, it's like a small room with just a big green screen.
电影的背景呢都是只是一个小小的这个房间而已，
They can just show whatever they want in back of these people.
是他们可以就是显示任何东西，只要能随性。
Sometimes you watch a movie and there's a scene that contains thousands of people.
有时候你看一个电影里面有这个荧幕里面有上千上万的人，
But in reality, there's almost like no one there.
真实来说真实其中是没有人的。
The world that is behind the scenes is something completely different.
在这个荧幕后面，这个世界是完全跟这个现实完全不一样的。
We can never really tell what's really going on.
很多时候我们真的不能够说到底是发生什么事，
We only know what we can see in front of us.
我们只知道我们可以看到我们眼睛看到的东西。
Now, the Bible teaches that there is a God.
圣经告诉我们说，有一位神，
There are angels and demons,
有这个天使，有魔鬼，
and they're all around us.
他们是我们的周遭，
But we don't get to see any of them.
但是我们看不到他们。
They could be in here in this room right now,
可能现在就在我们当中，
and we wouldn't know.
我们也不知道。
But they are behind the scenes,
但是他是在这个荧幕的后面，
and they are influencing the world around us,
他们就是在这背后就影响整个世界，
and they're influencing even our lives.
他也影响我们的生命。
Today we're going to read a Bible story that shows a scene we normally can't see.
当我们看到这个圣经故事，我们很多时候我们看不到这个真正的这个背后。
And it gives us a rare look into the possibilities of what goes on in the things unseen.
所以借着这个，我们可以看到一个很特别的机会，能够看到一些东西我们看不到的。
We're going to be looking at the first chapter of Job.
今天我们看约伯记第1章，
If you brought a Bible, please follow
我们
along.
有这个圣经呢，你请翻开的跟我一起。
We're going to begin by reading the first 5 verses.
我们开始看1到5节。
In the land of Uz, there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. and he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, and a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among all the people of the East. His sons used to hold feasts in their homes and on their birthdays, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When a period of feasting had run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, "Perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." This was Job's regular custom.
约伯记1章第1节，乌斯地有一个人名叫约伯，那人完全正直，敬畏神，远离恶事。他生了7个儿子，3个女儿。他的家产有7000羊，3000骆驼，500对牛，500母驴，并有许多仆婢。这人在东方人中就为之大。他的儿子按照日子各在自己家里摆设筵席，就打发人去，请了他们3个姐妹来，与他们一同吃喝。筵席的日子过了，约伯打发人去叫他们自洁。他清早起来，按照他们众人的数目献燔祭，因为他说：“恐怕我儿子犯了罪，心中弃掉神。”约伯常常这样行。
The story of Job begins with an introduction of Job to the reader.
约伯记一开始就是一个介绍，这个给我们这个读者一个介绍。
It's all about the life of Job.
就介绍约伯的生命一生。
And it establishes 3 things about him.
这里讲了3样事情。
First of all, he would be what we would call a good man.
第一件事是我们说他是个完全正直的人。
The Bible calls him blameless and upright.
还有圣经说他是完全正直。
In other words, he just does what is morally right.
就是换句话说，是他做一些道德上是正的对的事情。
Second, it seems that he is very blessed.
第二件事情是很受到神的祝福。
Not just in material things,
不只是单单在物质上，
but also with his family.
在他的家庭也是一样。
He had a very big family.
他有一个非常大的家庭。
And finally, he was faithful to God.
然后呢，是非常忠心于神。
You put all this together, and you get what we call the ideal follower of God.
所以你把这3件事放下来，你就看到是一个标准的这个跟随主的神的人。
There's nothing bad to say about it.
对来说，没有一件事是一件不好的事。
It looks like life is good for Job.
对约伯来说，他的生命是非常的好。
He has everything he could want or need, both physically and spiritually.
在属灵上或者在物质上，他有一切都供应给他们。
This is a rare type of person.
这是一个非常少有的人。
Nowadays, when we think of the wealthy, we don't really see many who could be called standout Christians.
现在我们看到一些有钱人是非常富有的人，我们看不到他是一个特别只能够是标青的这个基督徒。
Some of them may go to church.
他们有些可能是去教会，
Some of them may donate lots of money to support charities.
也可能他也是捐很多的钱，
But none of them really stand out in their faith.
但是他们又没有什么特别能够是有人注目的。
But Job was different.
但是约伯就不一样，
He was not only the wealthiest man in that region,
在那个地方，他不单单是个最富有的人，
he was also someone nobody could accuse of any kind of wrongdoing.
他也是一个人，没有人能够指责他的错的。
And he would outwardly display his faith.
他会很公开的显出他的这个信仰。
He must have been such a great witness for God.
他是一个非常有力的这个做神的见证人。
Many of the godly people in the Bible have stumbled in one way or another.
在圣经里面记载一些非常敬拜神的人，很多时候会跌倒。
We see that they're very imperfect.
我们看到他不是那么完全。
They lie, they commit adultery, they commit murder.
他们欺骗，他们犯奸淫，他们也犯了这个谋杀。
But nothing bad has been said about Job.
但是对约伯来说，完全没有一件不好的事情。
He serves as the best example for this story.
在这个故事中，他是一个最好的这个例子。
Now, before we continue on, however, I want to highlight one thing about this introduction.
还没有接着下来讲其他的时候，我先再指出这个开始这一段一些比较的事情。
The part where he makes sacrifices for his children.
之后他为他的儿子做献祭。
This is not a custom found anywhere else in the Bible.
在圣经里面是不是一个通知这个通常做的事情？
There's not a specific command for it in the Bible.
在圣经里面没有特别要求这么做。
But we cannot ignore it because it's part of what makes God take notice of Job.
但是我不能够小看的是，因为看到这个 这个神特别提到这个事情。
Now, we no longer make sacrifices, of course,
我们现在当然没有再有献祭，
but behind this action is an intention that we should also take notice.
但是在这个行动的背后呢，我们看到他这个目的是什么呢？
It's something we should follow.
这是一个目的，他的这个目的，我们是必须要遵循的。
That's because Job is essentially praying for the salvation of his children.
因为约伯是为他儿子的这个救恩祷告。
If this story was found in a different part of the Bible,
假如这个故事在圣经里面另外地方的话，
if it was found after the New Testament, or in the New Testament,
假如在新约的话，
after the arrival of Jesus Christ,
或者耶稣来了之后，
I think that Job, instead of making sacrifices, would be praying to God.
假如就是这个，假如这个是在新约的时候呢，我想约伯这个时候就是会向神祷告，
He would be praying that his children would not stray from the faith in Christ.
就会向神祷告，说他的孩子不会离弃神。
This is an example for us to follow.
这就是一个例子，我们必须要遵循学习的。
We need to pray for those we love.
我应该为我们那些我所爱的人祷告。
Even though God tells us to love everyone,
即使说神叫我们是爱全部的人，
it's impossible for us to pray for every single person in the world.
但是我们是不可能是为全世界每一个人祷告。
But prayer is something we all need.
祷告是我们每个人都需要的。
And God gives us people in our lives that we can pray for.
神呢给我们在我们生命中有人，我们可以为他们祷告。
And the more you love them, the more you should desire to pray for them.
你越爱他多少，你就应该越为他祷告。
And I think this is especially important in a time where so many people are struggling internally.
尤其是在很多人在心里面在挣扎的时候，
Job prayed for his children.
约伯为他孩子祷告，
Not
不是因为他看到什么东西，而是一些他可能看不到的东西，
he couldn't see what was going on in the inside.
因为他不能看到他们心里面的东西，
He couldn't see their thoughts.
他们看不到他们的思想，
So his main concern was sin.
主要就是罪，
And that should be our concern too.
同样也是我们应该所关注的。
But we can't see everything that's going on with our friends and family,
我们不可能知道我们朋友、我们的家庭人所做的一些事情，
and we can't assume that just because they seem fine or they say they're fine that they really are fine.
你不能够假设他们都很好，你就假设他们都很好。
And so I think we should follow Job's example here and pray for the ones we love,
所以我们应该学习约伯这个例子，是为我们所爱的人祷告。
even in times where it seems like there's nothing wrong.
即使在美好的时刻里面，我们能够为他祷告。
Let's continue with the reading.
我们继续看下面的经文，
Verses 6 to 12.
6节到12节。
One day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." "Does Job fear God for nothing?" Satan replied. "Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But now stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." The Lord said to Satan, "Very well then, everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself do not lay a finger." Then Satan went out from the presence of the Lord.
第6节，有一天，神的众子来侍立在耶和华面前，撒旦也来到其中。耶和华问撒旦说：“你从哪里来？”撒旦回答说：“我从地上走来走去，往返而来。”耶和华问撒旦说：“你曾用心察看我的仆人约伯没有？地上再没有人像他完全正直，敬畏神，远离恶事。”撒旦回答耶和华说：“约伯敬畏神，岂是无故呢？你岂不是四面围上篱笆，维护他和他的家，令他一切所有的吗？他手所做的都蒙你赐福，他的家产也在地上增多。你且伸手毁他一切所有的，他必当面弃掉你。”耶和华对撒旦说：“凡他所有的都在你手中，只是不可伸手加害于他。”于是撒旦从耶和华面前退去。
All right, now we get to the other side of things, the side of things that we normally can't see.
所以我们现在看另外一方面的事情，我们关于事情我们看不到的。
First, we see Job and everything is fine.
我们开始看到约伯是每一样事情都很好，
But while Job is living his life, righteous life, we get a glimpse of a very strange scene.
当约伯在活出他的正直的生活的时候，我们看到一个很奇怪的现象。
Now, this is something I can't imagine, but Satan actually goes to meet with God.
我们这都不可以想象是撒旦去神的面前。
Satan, as we all know, is the accuser.
我们知道撒旦就是这控告者。
And this passage clearly shows how Satan works.
这看到从这个经文，我们看到撒旦是如何工作的。
He goes with the angels to meet with God after he has roamed the earth.
当他在地上走来走去的时候，他就跟天使上了天堂去见神。
Now, why would Satan roam the earth?
为什么这个撒旦在地上走来走去呢？
Does he just have a lot of free time? Does he just have a lot of free time?
是不是他有很多空闲的时间呢？
That might be part of it.
那可能是。
But the real reason appears to be that Satan is traveling the earth
主要原因是因为撒旦是在地上走来走去，
and seeking people to accuse.
是看到什么人他可以控告的，
He's looking for targets.
他是找目标，
He's looking to stir up trouble.
他是要兴起这个要捉弄。
Then God speaks again.
那么神说了，
And he has someone in mind.
他心里面有一个人，
There's someone on earth who catches God's attention.
在神的心里面有一个人在地上是使到神特别注意的，
His servant Job.
就是他的仆人约伯。
Even God, who is all-knowing and all-seeing, has nothing bad to say about Job.
即使神他是全知全能，也都没有任何事情可以指责约伯的。
And he presents Job up to Satan and says, there's nothing you can say about it.
他就对撒旦说：“你约伯是你的没有办法是可以指控他，
There's nothing for you to accuse.
你没有任何事情可以控告他。”
But Job has caught Satan's attention.
约伯也是同样得到这个撒旦的注意。
And Satan brings up an interesting point.
那么撒旦就提出一个很有趣的这点，
He accuses Job of being a good servant of God because God has blessed him.
他指控约伯是成为神美好的仆人，是因为神供应他一切，
God protects him, God blesses him.
神保护他，神祝福他。
Why would he not serve him?
在这种情况下，你怎么不会侍奉他呢？
This is how many people think about the way blessing should work, right?
我们很多时候都是认为祝福就是这样子，
This is how we hope that religions would work.
我们也是这样子，希望是宗教是这样子这样子。
Some people think that if they make their gods happy, their gods will give them whatever they want.
有些人认为是只要你使让神高兴喜乐，神就会供应你一切。
And some churches teach this as well.
甚至有些教会也是这么教导。
They teach that if you're a good person, do good things, God will give you
教会的教
recompense.
导说，你假如做一个好人，做好事，神就会祝福你。
Satan is accusing Job of thinking this way.
那么撒旦就指控约伯就是这么思想。
Satan is accusing Job of trying to take advantage of God's goodness.
那么这个撒旦就指控这个约伯就是因为这样子才敬拜神嘛。
And it's a valid point.
这是一个很有利的很有利的这一点，
It's a question to ask of ourselves.
也是一个问题，我们要问我们自己的：
Why do we follow God?
我为什么跟随神呢？
Why do we worship God?
为什么敬拜神呢？
Do we love God because of who He is?
我们爱神是因为他就是神吗？
Or do we only love the fact that He helps us,
或是因为我们爱他，是因为他帮助我们，
that He provides for us?
他供应我们一切？
If it's the latter, then our faith is going to be frail.
假如是后者的话，就是假如认为他供应我们了，我们的信心就是非常脆弱的。
And the slightest bit of trouble will break it.
任何一个小的事，这个麻烦你就会使我们信心崩溃。
But this scene also sheds light on the sovereignty of God.
在这个经文也看到我们神的主权。
Satan is asking to do some very terrible things to Job.
撒旦呢要求做一些很不好的事情，对约伯做一些不好的事情。
Satan wants to destroy Job.
撒旦要毁灭这个约伯，
He wants to prove that humans can't truly love God.
还要证明说人真的是不能够真正爱神。
If Job is the best of us,
假如约伯是我们人类最好的一个，
and he fails to hold on to the hope of God through troubled times,
假如在困难的时候他不能够坚持他的对神的信仰，
then what hope do any of us
那
have?
么对我们来说，我们任何一个人都没有什么机会了。
Now, at this point in time, God will not allow Satan to touch Job.
在这个时候，假如神不允许这个撒旦去毁坏这个约伯的话，
But God agrees to let everything else be fair game for Satan.
但是神呢是要给这个这个撒旦一个合理的这个机会，
Satan cannot do anything without God's permission.
因为撒旦不能做任何事情，假如是没有神的允许的话。
And while that's a good thing, we see that here that God sometimes allows these troubles to enter into our lives.
是不是一件好事情？假如神有时候允许这事情进入我们生命里，
It is part of what we call spiritual warfare.
我们就是说，这是我们属灵的征战。
You have a soul that God wants to save.
你有一个灵，神要拯救你的灵，
You are precious in God's sight.
在神的眼中你是珍贵的。
Our only hope of peace and joy can be found in God.
我们唯有在神里面能够找到真正的平安，
Our only hope of salvation can be found in God.
所以真正这个救恩在神里面可以寻找得到。
But the tug of war for our souls is not one-sided.
但是这个征战呢，在我们里面征战不只是单方面的，
There's Satan on the other side.
在另外一方面还有这个撒旦。
And the closer you draw to God, the more of a threat you become.
你越接近神，对撒旦来讲是越大的一个威胁。
And Satan will do what he can to break you.
那撒旦就用一切的手段来使到你跟神的关系不好。
He will do whatever he can to try to break your faith.
他会用一切的手段来使到你的信心大大减少。
Those who draw closer to God are not always going to have good things coming their way.
越接近神呢，在你的生活中呢，可能就越来越困难。
Satan is going to try to strike you where it hurts.
因为撒旦呢，在伤害你的地方，他就会攻击你。
He will do what he can to make you question God.
他会做一些事情，使让你怀疑神。
And Job was no exception.
那约伯也是不是有特别出来。
He's supposed to be the best of us.
他是应该是我们人中最好的一个。
And if you read the story of Job, you'll see that he too became very troubled by what he had to
然后你
face.
继续看一下约伯的时候，你放到他心里面很多就是也因为受这事情的烦恼。
Now, we're not going to read everything that happens to Job,
我们不可能就是完全读有关约伯的事。
but let's just say that it's about as bad as it can get.
我们可以说这个事情可能到了一个最坏的一个阶段。
In a short period of time, Job loses all of his possessions.
在非常短的时间内，约伯失去他一切所有。
He loses almost all of his servants.
他失去了他所有的这个奴婢，
He loses all of his children.
他失去了他所有的孩子。
And it just happens just rapidly.
这事情发生的非常的快，
So quickly that it seems unreal.
这么快啊，是不是好像是不是真那么真实？
But for Job, this was his reality.
但是约伯来说，这是个真实的事情。
He trusted in God, he obeyed God, he loved God.
他信靠神，他遵守神，他也是爱神。
Then something like this happens.
但是这些事情即使发生在他身上，
Would it not feel like a betrayal?
是不是好像神背叛他？
What is Job's response to this?
那是约伯的反应是怎么样呢？
We're going to read verses 20 to 22.
我们看20跟21节。
At this, Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground and worshipped and said, Naked I came from my mother's womb, naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing.
约伯便起来，撕裂外袍，剃了头，伏在地上下拜，说：“我侧身出于母胎，也必侧身归回。赏赐的是耶和华，收取的也是耶和华。耶和华的名是应当称颂的。在这一切的事上，约伯并不犯罪，也不以神为遗忘。”
Now, this is the kind of response you're not going to expect from anyone or anyone else.
这种反应呢，你不可能从任何人期望有这样的反应。
It does look like he's experiencing grief.
这里看起来好像他不是好，
It's not like he's completely
或者
emotionless.
是很情绪化。
He did what they normally do when they are distressed.
当一个人是很低潮的时候，是任何一个人都会做的事情。
It says that he tore his robe and shaved his
他
head.
撕开了外袍，那么就剃了头。
But what comes after is what is surprising.
但是就是特别惊奇的，是他做的事情后面所做的事，
He falls to the ground in worship.
他伏在地上然后下拜，
This is unusual behavior to us.
这是非常不寻常的这个行动。
He had just lost everything.
他已经失去了一切，
And the first thing he does is worship God.
第一件事他做的就是敬拜神。
This shows how God-centered his life is.
所以我们就看到神如何知道他的生命。
He's so focused on God all the time that the moment this happens, he goes straight back to God.
他完全关注在神，任何事情发生了，第一件事情他就回到神那边去。
And normally when we go back to God, it's to complain,
很多时候我们回到神那边去，我们就是埋怨，
it's to ask for help,
就是求神的帮助。
but he doesn't do any of that.
但是他没有做这一切的我们人心中做的事情，
He just worships God.
他就是敬拜神，
He just accepts God's choice.
他就接受神所做的一切。
His words are so humbling.
他是那么的谦卑。
Let me read that part again.
我们再把这刚才是21节再念一次。
Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised.
我侧身就一母胎，也必侧身归回。赏赐的是耶和华，收取的也是耶和华。耶和华的名是应当称颂的。
There's an English saying when we call some things the icing on the cake.
我们有英文也就是说，我们一些东西是我们是在蛋糕上面一些甜的这个甜这个icing 就是那种甜的东西。
We use it to describe things that are nice but not essential.
我们来试着描述一些好的，但是不是那么重要的。
If you're not sure what icing is, it's like that frosting, the white stuff or colorful stuff that's on the coating that people put on cupcakes and cakes.
icing 就是在蛋糕上面那层白色的糖所做的那种白色的东西。
So people use this to describe things they would want but would be fine without.
我们用这来描述一些东西，我们要，但是不是那么重要的。
If you buy something that you really want and it comes with a nice discount, that discount is the icing on the cake.
比如说你要买一些东西很省，但是给那个折扣，这个就好像是一个就是特别的这个优待给你。
If there's a job you enjoy doing, and it also happens to pay quite well, then the extra pay is the icing on the cake.
就是好像一个工作你很喜欢的，但是那工作的价钱这个给你这个薪水很好，你至少是icing 这个在蛋糕上这个白色的这个甜点。
For most people, the good things in life are the cake.
对人来说，人生就好像一块那个蛋糕一样。
But for Job, life itself was the cake.
但是对约伯来说，他的生命就是一个蛋糕。
As we read this, we see that Job has this mentality that seems incredibly optimistic.
我们看从这基本上看，我们知道约伯一个他的思想是非常的这个乐观的。
Naked I came, and naked I will depart.
他是侧身以母替为侧身归回。
The Lord gives, and the Lord takes away.
赏赐是耶和华，收取的也是耶和华。
We came into this world, and we came with nothing.
我们来到这世上是侧身入体的，完全没有东西。
We were born into this world with nothing except that which would be given to us.
我们来到世上之后，我们都没有，只是一切都是神所给我们的。
And in the end, when we die, we can't take anything with us.
当我们死的时候，我们也不能够带任何东西跟我们去。
So every good thing that happens to us,
所以任何好事在我们身上发生的，
every good thing that's given to us,
每一样好的事情给我们的，
from the day we're born to the day we die,
就那一天我们出生，一直到我们那一日死的时候，
it's all just icing on the cake.
就好像是一个在蛋糕上一些点缀的东西。
That was Job's perspective.
这就是约伯的这个人生观。
With that point of view, he never really lost anything,
所以从这一点来看，他是觉得他没有失去任何东西，
or rather, he didn't lose what truly mattered.
或者是说他失去这个不是那么重要的。
We tend to place our trust in the things of this world,
我们很多时候，我们把我们的信心放在这世界上的事物上，
but there's nothing you can really hang on to.
但是在世界上一些事情我们都不能够抓住。
No matter how tightly you hang on to something, there's always the possibility God will take it away.
尽管你手里抓得很紧的，你这个机会神会从你手上取去。
And when God takes something away, we do feel like we've lost something.
当神从我们身上拿去这些东西的时候，我们好像觉得我们失去这些东西。
But then we forget where it came from in the first place.
但是很多时候我们就是忘记了这些是从哪里来的。
God gives and God takes away.
神给，神也收取。
If the things in this life are all we care about,
很多时候我们就关注是我们现在现今生命的东西，
if that's all we put our hopes and dreams into,
也就是我们把我们的生命、我们的这个希望完全就是放在这些事上。
and at the end of our lives,
在我们生命的最后一点，
when we finally lose everything,
当我们死失了一切的东西的时候，
what was it all for?
我们还有什么呢？
The things of this world are not permanent.
因为世界上这一切东西都是暂时的。
What's here today may be gone tomorrow.
今天我们所有的，明天可能就失去。
And it can be painful for us to think about.
我们想到这时候，我们觉得很痛苦。
But this moment in time,
但是在这个时刻，
whatever is going on in your life right now, whatever you're hanging on to right now,
尽管你生命中发生什么事，或者你现在生命抓住什么东西，
this moment will end.
这个时刻会停止，
It will fade away.
会慢慢消失。
Day by day, we will lose something.
每一天我们都会损失一些东西，
And by the end, we will lose everything.
到最后我们会失去一切所有。
But there's one thing that's constant,
但是这一样是恒长的，
someone who is permanent.
这是一个是永久的。
and He will never leave us nor forsake
他
us.
永远不会离弃我们。
The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised.
赏赐的是耶和华，收起的也是耶和华，耶和华的名是应当称颂。
Job's focus was not on what was lost, but what was still there.
约伯的这个所关注的不是他所吃的，是什么生的还存在的，
And that is our Lord and our God.
就是我们的主，我们的神。
May He be the only good thing that we have.
他是唯一最好的东西，我们所可能拥有。
Let us end in a word of prayer.
我们一起祷告。
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this day.
第二天，我们感谢今天，
Thank you, Lord, for being you,
我们感谢你，你就是你，
for being our God,
你就是我们的神。
for allowing us to not just have life, but also have life with you.
你使我们不单有有生命，也应许我们有生命跟你在一起。
Oh Lord, this world is full of troubles.
哦，主，这实在是充满了这个患难。
Just recently, there have been earthquakes and wars and everything.
最近有这个地震或者战争，
It just seems there's no end to the trouble that we face in this world.
似乎在这世界上这个患难是永远不会停止。
But as you have shown in your word, Lord, that's not what's important.
但是从你的话中，我们看到这些都不重要。
We need to understand the importance of you in our
我
lives.
们需要知道你对这样的生命中是何等的重要。
Please lead us closer to you.
我主啊，带领我们能够更亲近你。
I pray, Lord, that you would never let us go.
我们祷告你不要放弃我们。
I pray all this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
我们祷告是奉主耶稣基督圣名求。
Amen.
The name of the song is called Heart of Worship. When the music fades, all is stripped away, and I simply come, longing just to bring something that's of worth that will bless your heart. I'll bring you more than a song, for a song in itself is that what you have required. You search much deeper within, through the way things appear. You're looking in